Alright guys, welcome back. So I've done a little bit off camera just because there's so much little configuring things to do and it's kind of boring and it wouldn't make for a good video. But I'll tell you, one of the cool things I did is I got these windows tinted. So here, I'll just flip the camera. It is, I forgot what exactly I did, but they are pretty nice and dark. You can see in there a little bit, especially with the tailgate open, but that looks pretty good if I do say so myself. So anyway, I'll just summarize what I did. I'm in the process of putting that handle on. I got that to fit up there finally. This does open, although I do not have the gas shocks. So if anyone has those they're looking to get rid of, let me know in the comments. You can buy them online, but they're just insanely expensive, per usual. I got all four doors to close and fit. I don't know what's going on. I had to cut this whole door down, and I had to do the same on this front door here, and that was not my best work, as you can see. So when I go to paint these, I'm going to attack them with a flapper wheel and really clean them up. But they do close sort of okay now, and they'll stay latched, and that, you know, I'm just going for that for now because I want to be able to drive this thing. I cracked my windshield putting that in, so that was nice. I'm going to have to redo that. All these doors fit, like I said. You know, that's basically it. So, since the last video anyway. I think I showed you I got the mirrors on. And then I think I showed you I got the wiper blades on as well. So in this episode, we are going to be rigging up a camera system, which is going to be really cool. We're going to be installing the heater core, which is not that difficult. And I think after that, I'm going to be putting on temporarily one of the turret supports, the one that goes on the driver's side, and I'm going to try and get my seatbelt on there because I do want to have a seatbelt if I'm going to be daily driving this thing. But other than that, it's going to be pretty much ready to start driving around. So in a future episode, I'm going to be doing the body lift, which you see sitting down there, and I'm eventually going to be doing the 40-inch tires with the black Rhino wheels. I'm one of those guys, I am actually partial to the OEM wheels, but it's impossible or nearly impossible to find a normal 40-inch tire that fits a 16.5-inch wheel. Basically, your only option is Super Swampers, which are good tires, but they're very expensive and they're very heavy. I had Super Swampers on the last Humvee. I just went with 37s again, and they were great. Tons of grip off-road, but not really what I'm looking to do on this build. And also, since I am going to be going to 40s, I'm going to try and keep the weight down. So I believe what I'm going to with the 40s is actually going to be significantly lighter than what's currently on there with the 37s and the OEM wheels. So anyway, enough blabbing. Let's get to it. So I can't even begin to tell you guys how many times I'm making use of riv nuts on this rig. These are normally a huge pain to bolt in. They go up in here, and there's like no light, you can't really see much, but they go on the inside of the firewall. And the only way to normally get to them is you gotta jam your hand in here to reach the nut on the other side, and even harder is trying to jam a wrench in there, so not fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and make use of riv nuts again. If you don't know what a riv nut is, it's these little inserts. Some people call them nut certs, but you just stick them in the hole that you normally have to put a nut and a bolt through, and this tool will insert this, and this is something you'll be able to, it's threaded. Here, let me show you. So it's this little thing here. It is a little threaded thing that a bolt can thread into. So I'm just going to put 4 of those in there and not mess with jamming my hand in between the filter tube and the firewall, and it'll also make it a lot easier if I ever need to remove this heater core. Alright guys, finally got this thing in. So that was A little bit of a struggle, but nothing too bad. Those rib nuts definitely helped a ton, like I was saying. The hardest part was, well, not hard. Most frustrating part was connecting the hoses back to the heater core there. I spilled about 37 gallons of antifreeze on the ground. Actually, a lot of it dried up last night. So I'm gonna back this truck out and completely dry it up. For those of you who do not know, antifreeze is like poison to dogs, and I think it's even worse for cats. So if they slurp up just a little bit, it will kill them. So be very, very careful leaving stuff like that out, that you don't got dogs running around that are gonna try and drink it. That is not what you want. So anyway, just a little tip, maybe save somebody a lot of grief. But yeah, let's get this backed out. And now I get to start doing the fun part. And that is rigging up this awesome camera system that I bought. So, looking forward to it. Alright guys, first camera is hard mounted. I'm just kind of mocking this up, but basically what I did is these cameras come apart, the round style ones do anyway. And there's mounting holes inside this frame. So I went ahead and did a rib nut. I'm going to add another one in a minute. And just drilled directly into the aluminum here and did the rib nut. So that should be really solid. I just realized it's kind of pointing upwards. Something I was supposed to be like that. But anyway, I think that looks pretty cool. I didn't realize before I did this that there's going to be an antenna right here. So I don't know. That might get broken off if a rock or something flies up, but hopefully it'll be okay. These are wireless cameras, so you just need wires for the power, and then they transmit wirelessly. Because I didn't feel like running a bunch of wires and garbage. You can get these on Amazon. They're usually for like trailers and RVs and stuff. But anyway, I think that looks pretty cool. It looks a little better in person, probably, but kind of, I don't know, kind of just cool looking, special forces looking. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this powered up. All right guys, so got this screen all wired up. I'll tell you what I did. So there's a few ways you can do this. A lot of people will wire a switch. So this whole camera system, forgot to mention this, it can do 24 volts. That's a big reason I got it. Just look it up on Amazon. There's a lot of different ones. This is the Fuku, so real high-end sounding brand there. But a lot of people will do a switch, toggle switches or something somewhere to turn on your cameras and whatever other accessories, and they just wire it straight to battery. You know, that's kind of what I did on the last rig, and I thought I wanted to do something a little more factory on this, a little more clean, you know, so I went ahead and wired it to my lights instead. That way, you don't gotta mess with switches and add a bunch of stuff and more cables and whatever. So I did have to drill a hole right there. I did a grommet. You can run it through this part of the dash, down through your gauges, and then down under your dash. And if you really wanted to get fancy, you could wire it to one of the wires coming out of your lights here, your light controller. I was gonna do that, but I got to looking at that. There's a ton of them, and I didn't feel like spending an hour online figuring out what goes to what. Yeah, I know there's technical manuals, blah blah blah, but the easier solution was just run the cables a little bit farther and then run them to my my bright switch here. So all your lighting passes through here, not just for your brights. Everything for your headlights, I should say. So I figured, why not just wire it to that? It's grounded straight to that nut right there. I used a wire tap, and it's wired to the one for the headlights. On a Humvee, your headlights are always on when you drive, or at least the way I drive mine are. Don't know if I showed you guys this. I did wire taps on here as well. I actually did the wrong cable at first. The one on the bottom is your ground, your negative. The one on the top left is what you want to tap into. I did the left, this is for the camera by the way, not the screen like I was showing you in there. But I did the left headlight just because it'd be a little more cleaner running the wires down and out of the way. versus the right, you'd see wires bridging from the hood to, you know, the camera over there. So a little more length, but a little cleaner as well. You know, I hate custom wiring jobs, especially because I bought some stuff and people did that type of thing, and it just is bad looking, and sometimes makes you a little worried. But, you know, this is my first time using these kind of wiretaps. I've used wiretaps a little bit in the past. It always seemed like they work pretty good. And this is just a camera system. So if something were to go wrong, it's not the end of the world. I soldered most of my connections, but I did use wiretaps and that crimp-on connector for the ground right there. So maybe in the future I'll go back and do solder on connections or something to make it really clean. But where I had to join to the extra wire to the wire that came with the system, I did solder it. And then I used this sheathing, which you can't really see, to, you know, kind of make it look a little better. I know there's those two clamps there where that actually will screw onto the firewall. I still want to lay some Dynamat on this side. That's the reason I've just got it zip tied up right now. But anyway, so let me show you how it works. I just got the one camera. I'm going to add the backup camera. This is the right side mirror camera. So you just take your lights, you turn them on like you're going to drive, and then this system just fires right up. It's wireless. And as you can see right down the right side of the Humvee, which is really nice. Whole lot easier than trying to look at that little mirror. Of course, I'll leave that on as a backup. But this is really clear picture. You'll know if someone is coming up on you and riding in your blind spot, which is really great. So I'm going to go ahead and wire in the backup cam because nothing for visibility and a slant back. And then I'll be able to have both these cams on this one screen, of course. And I think that'll be pretty cool. So I will show you guys when I get that done. All right, guys, got that rear view camera mounted. Oh, wow. Okay, the night vision's on. That's cool looking. Didn't realize they lit up like that. Sorry, bad camera angle. It's not as purpley as it looks on camera in real life. It's more like a red. But that's pretty cool. One thing is it's slightly off. That's going to drive me nuts. I'll have to fix that. On the rotationals, slightly left. But anyway, so I went ahead and wired that into the tail light. I'll show you best as I can. So I spliced the wire on here that was, it had a red thing. Some people have the little metal tabs, some people have the red ones. I think the updated Humvees had the red. It was 21, I'm pretty sure. You might want to just test that. You know, test that in the plug first to make sure you get 24 volts. But I'm pretty sure it was number 21. And then the ground, I just ran up to that bolt on the tail light. So really simple. And ran that all the way back on the harness that actually came with the camera. It was long enough. It was way long enough. I had to trim some off. So let me show you what it looks like from inside the rig. I've got this set up as a split screen now. So you see I've got my right side blind spot on the right and then my rear view on the left. And it's got the night vision on right now. That actually looks pretty good. So the screen is just massive. I mean, let me go to the normal zoom here. So that probably gives you an idea, but it is a huge screen. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my garage lights. Let's see what the... okay, yep, the night vision kicked on the blind spot. Yeah, that's really quite good. And let's see what that looks like from outside the rig. I bet it looks pretty cool. Yeah, that looks sick. I don't know why it's showing up so purple on camera. It's just a dim red, and must be something weird with the video, but that is really, it's not nearly that bright in real life, but that is really cool looking. You'll definitely see that if you're in a car driving down the road. So, well, overall, guys, I'm psyched. I'm only doing 2 cameras for now. In the future, I may add one up front after I put my body lift on here. I'll be able to fit one on this front winch plate on top of it. And maybe I'll add one on the left side. Only reason I'd ever do that is I've got this sucker pretty blacked out. So it is a little bit hard to see out of at night. And if I've got my window up here, which it's pretty hard to see that mirror. It gets kind of reflective, as you can see. It's really trippy how it does that. I can see my jet ski in the mirror, which is in front. On the lower mirror, I can kind of still see. So anyway, maybe I do something with that, maybe not. I'm thinking right now, though, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep those other two cameras as spares. Close my garage here. It's crazy, my garage door closer doesn't work well in this thing, and I think because there's so much steel with the roof and the doors and everything, I don't know. It does not work like it works in a normal car. I have to hit a bunch of times. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, so I think maybe in the future I'll run a camera on the left, just like I have it on the right, and then maybe a camera on the front. Another thing I forgot to mention with this setup is you can record. So if you just hit the select button, I believe, when you're just on the screen, it'll start recording, you see there. And you can put a SD card in here. So that's pretty cool. I think that would be another good reason to run the front camera, is to use it as a dash cam, because you just never know what people are going to be doing. So, and really you'd have, if I did that one on the left blind spot in the front and I had this always recording, I don't know if it auto erases or anything. I got to look into the manual, but I'd have, basically a full 360 view dash cam that's on all the time. So that would be pretty nice. Hopefully I don't ever need it. But you never know, you might catch someone else's wreck or, some other situation. So anyways, I think that's all I said I was going to do in this video. If not, I apologize. I'll try and edit out whatever else I said I was going to do and I didn't do, if that makes sense. Trying to think. It was basically just the heater core and the camera. I don't think I said I was going to do anything else. So, but appreciate you guys watching. Hope you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. So, one thing I didn't realize is since I wired this to the headlight switch like I showed you guys on the floor, when I turn on my brights, it turns off my screen. So I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. Not a big deal. But the reason for that is it's switching from the normal power that would go to the the headlights, the low beam, to the high beam. So I wired it into the low beam. But I don't really care. I mean, I'm not going to be in too many situations where I need my high beam and my cameras. Eventually, maybe I'll fix it if it's starting to get really annoying, but for now, I guess it is what it is.